Hello and welcome everybody. My name's Rose Smith from AbsoluteSoulSecrets.com. Thanks for joining me. I'm doing the monthly predictions for countries. This month I'm going to be looking at Australia, which has an election, France, which has an election tomorrow. So I'm actually doing this a little bit earlier than I normally would, but because of that, that's the reason. And the US, UK, and also the situation in Ukraine. If you are new, please consider subscribing to the channel and hit that notification bell right now. Okay, so let's go to the board and see what the cards have to say. Okay, so the Australian election has been called for this month. I've just forgotten the date. That's typical, isn't it? I think it's the 21st of this month. Okay, now I have had two previous psychic flashes in the past. The cards are going all over the place. Two previous psychic flashes that Albanese would win. The Labor Party will be the party of government. It's not really strong, and normally I don't say anything until I see, like, I have three flashes basically, but it's getting closer and I just haven't had that third flash yet, but hopefully I'll get it right now doing this. I did have Scott Morrison in my face this morning, but with no context, so I don't know what that means. The flash I had last month was that he was walking away. He's shaking his head. Oh, right. Okay. It's, I don't want to go. I don't want to go. Okay. Well, just because he doesn't want to go doesn't mean anything in my mind. We don't always get what we want. Let's see what the cards have to say. Firstly, because he is in my face very strongly, I'm going to look at the energy around him, Scott Morrison, our current Prime Minister, who is the leader of the Liberal Party. Liberal in Australia is like the US idea of Democrats somewhat. But our two main parties, the Liberal and the Labor parties, are actually quite similar in some respects. There's not the differentiation that there is in the US or the UK, for example. So I'm just looking at the energy around Scott Morrison right now. A lot of green growth. It's like a bit of a tropical jungle, though. A bit out of control. I'm looking at these dark green leaves. There's a sort of darkness underneath. And I don't know if you've ever been to tropical jungles. It's not all that comfortable, to be quite honest. But, you know, it looks nice in photos. So the marketing aspect is very good, but in practice and reality, that's another thing. So the energy around Scott Morrison, Two of Swords, some decisions to make, two paths he can go by. Of course, we already know that. This card does not give extra clarification, in fact. He's dogged by the past, the memories of the past, the reflections of the past. He's dogged. And so these two swords, you know, a decision has to be cut and dry. And it's just based on stacks, not based on emotion. It's just like, look at the data. This is what it is. And there's not much data around. It's all about thinking. Yeah, you need a bit more than that to successfully, you know, be a leader. You have to have empathy. I'm not sure that there's real empathy there. Interestingly, this is a woman. There's women in the background here. And I just feel, even though he's married, and I think he's got two daughters, so he's got women around him, it's like he hasn't owned his own feminine side. In the same way that some men have. So, for example, my husband's always cooked our whole relationships, our whole lives. He's always done the cooking. And so he's owned his more feminine, nurturing side, but I really don't think that Scott Morrison has. But so that means, what that means in practice, that 51% of the Australian population, he doesn't relate terribly well to them, you know, generally speaking. Of course, there's always a few, but yeah, generally speaking, there's some sort of mismatch or disconnection around his feminine side. And I see Tony Abbott while I say that too, so he must be another one. Okay, and I want to get another card because I want to get a clear clarification of what's happening around Scott Morrison. Oh, okay. It's about money. It's about resources. The resources they're putting in is a lot, but maybe it's not enough. And then you've got sort of Clive Palmer, the United Australia Party. He's changed it. It used to be the PUP Party, Palmer United Party. Now it's the United Australia Party. And you see here, this is about planting seeds, and they grow. Yes, they grow, but they take a long time. And he just doesn't have time. I think there's some major problem with resources that we don't know about here. He hasn't got the resources instantly that he needs to do everything that he wants to do in terms of marketing, perhaps. And he's running out of time. And let me look for a winner, Liberal Party, at the elections, 21st of May. A gun, there's a gun, a target, somebody pointing a gun at me, great. A target, I'll just get out of the way of that. No, I have got a bullseye, a picture of a bullseye, but the shot, it hits the board, but it's in the outer region, it's not a bullseye, and this is the 5 of Cups, indicates disappointment. And so I'm very doubtful that they will retain government. I think even though Albanese's had a shocker of a week last week and now he's got COVID, so he can't campaign face-to-face for the next 7 days, the Liberal Party are extremely disappointed. They're going to lose a lot of seats. And, you know, you'll see 5 cups here that are separated. 2 to this side. This white rose indicates like some sort of spiritual connection going on, but it's limp. And the love affair with the Australian people is over. Okay. All right, let's have a look now at France, because their election is tomorrow Australian time. Hang on, there's a card there. No, I thought I saw a card. No, must have imagined. Oh, there it is. Okay, so we'll turn that over. Okay, so France, and last month I did this, and I think I mentioned France, and I called it for Macron, and I feel more strongly, even though a couple of weeks ago Le Pen had caught up within 1 point. But they had a debate 2 days ago. I'm not sure what the outcome of the debate is, if it even makes a difference, I don't know. But I feel more strongly that it's Macron. Let's just have a look. Macron, I can see his blue eyes in front of me. And look at the energy around that. Okay, so he's got difficulty with resources also. There's challenges here, but there's a way through. So, okay, this might be quite close again. Like, it's not easy what he's trying to do, but there is a way through. And that's the way I always interpret this card, that there's a path between these challenges and he will do it. So I call France, the France election winner, as Macron. That was pretty cut and dried to me. But both Australia and France, I think, are closer than we both think. Even and in Australia, the rise of the independence is very strong. If you don't have independent in your area, you can vote for one of the minor parties, the Greens or one of the others, yeah. But I think we'll see the rise of the independents a little bit, you know, in terms of Pauline Hanson. I don't know what's going on with her, but Palmer Party, I think, what's it called, United Australia Party, I think they will get increased share, and independents, I think, are going to do the best than, you know, what they've ever done. Okay, now we're looking at the US, the situation around the US. There's always, you know, Actually, you could do it for every state because there are like 50 different countries, really. One state to the next state's quite different. And so trying to get an overall view here. I get an arrow going down. Okay. I think this is about Trump, actually. Even I just get decline around Trump. He's in decline. I feel it's very unlikely he will run again for election. Okay, something happens. I just don't see that happening at the moment. But let's just see what cards say. Sorry, my girls are just going on. They're laying eggs. After they lay an egg, they always start this clucking. I have to go out and rescue the eggs before the tree goannas get here. Okay, there's so much happening here. Hopes and dreams, send them out into the universe. Do they come back? Queen of Pentacles, the rise of the feminine in the US. Well, I'll say unfortunately. Some people might not agree with me. The Marjorie Taylor Greene and Lauren Boebert types will also benefit in this rise. So the rise of the feminine. Knight of Wands, more motivation and inspiration on one hand, but it also brings more division. So I don't see the division between the two parties going away. I actually see it getting nastier and nastier. I don't know how far they can go before, it descends into violence. Am I seeing a civil war around the US this year? Just close my eyes. Alcohol. Okay, so more skirmishes fueled by addiction, maybe alcohol and drugs, sort of pushing the division. But I wouldn't call it a civil war. So no. The Knight of Wands in this case, is about making slow, steady progress. So I do believe that there's slow, steady progress coming, and there's green with opportunity coming as well, and action that needs to be taken, and more interaction with foreign countries. Okay, see, this is like an opening up of the chakras, and that looks like a pyramid in Egypt. So I feel there's more interaction, and sort of a better foreign relations is going much better than it has in the past. But Queen of Pentacles, actually see an improvement in the economy, the US economy, despite the division and the carry on in politics and the rise of the feminine. So I feel like a lot of the feminine, the underdogs, the minorities are going to improve economically. Okay, so that's good news in a sense for the US. I don't know, I can't see all those cards. I'll put them like that, I think. Okay, next card I'm going to look at is the UK. I just get, when I focus on that, squabbling. It's like children squabbling in Parliament there, in the House of Commons. And I still see Boris Johnson there. So I don't know, people calling for his resignation. I think they usually do. I don't know what's about. That card's just flying out. Coming together, some agreement, some union. Some things they're going to complete and sign off on, which is a good thing. I think there's more awareness of the common person. UK politics has really sort of divided into the us and them type mentality, and I feel like there's something bringing those two sides of the aisle back together. I don't know much about UK politics. I don't follow it. But again, I've got Boris Johnson in my face. It's funny, I didn't have Biden in my face there, but I had Macron and I had Morrison, and I've got Boris Johnson here. He just doesn't understand. He just doesn't get it. Sometimes it's not that he's mean or vicious or any of that. It's just that he doesn't get it. He's sort of in some rarefied atmosphere away from the common person, the average person. He just doesn't understand what the problem is. Again, I feel a feminine influence. around him, and they have to explain. See, this is what seems to be the common theme here, is that the divine feminine, these males in power, sorry if you are a guy, but you will probably understand that everybody has male and female energy regardless of what sex you actually are. And these male leaders here in Australia, not so much France, I'll take France out. Macron, I believe, is in touch with his feminine side, so I'll take him out. But Johnson, Biden, I just don't get much about that either. But there is a coming together of the feminine there, but they just don't understand. I think Scott Morrison and Boris Johnson are quite similar in their personality in some way. Okay, and so there's a deeper understanding, and certainly at grassroots level, this is helping his party somewhat to understand what the average person is on about. There's a woman with dark hair. It's not his wife. She's some sort of advisor or someone like that, and she's explaining it to him. Also, I believe he's had a baby or two. I'm not sure because I don't follow. He has had 1 or 2 babies to this younger woman. I feel like his heart is opening up just a tad, okay? And so there is something beneficial happening there, and the coming together of the masculine and feminine forces. All right, and the last country we're going to look at is what's going on, the situation in Ukraine. Oh gosh, I see a white rose, somebody handing me a white rose. This beautiful energy. It hasn't quite bloomed yet. The flower is still quite closed and it hasn't come to fruition yet, but this very spiritual energy underpinning Ukraine, and there's solidarity of the people with President Zelenskyy. Let's see, we're turning a corner, they're saying, and I'm going around to the right way of doing things, the analytical side, the taking care of business, the structure. Let's see what card comes out. This conflict continues. This is going to go on for months. I hope not years. They have the power of spirit behind them. Pray for Ukraine, stand with Ukraine. They're defending themselves, and still it's going to continue on. They will never give up. And I wish we could get more assistance from Western countries, basically. They're getting some assistance. I'm not sure they're getting it as they need it, because, especially America has promised a lot to Ukraine, but on the ground, has it actually happened yet? I don't know. Please let me know in the comments if you know what the current situation is with resources being sent to Ukraine. Australia has promised, I think it's 50 Bushmaster armoured vehicles. Have they left Australia? Haven't heard a thing. Okay, the conflict continues. And we just had last night, we had Saturn, Jupiter, Venus and Mars doing a historic alignment of energies. So all about structures, governments, increase in energy, Mars and Venus bringing out, again, a bit of, coming together, a bit of union, the energies blending of hostility and war. Mars is a planet of war, but Venus softens it. There could be some sort of minor breakthrough, maybe a sort of halt in just for a short time, but basically it's continuing on, the conflict. Alrighty, so that's May for you, for these countries. So good luck to everybody who is voting in May, and may the best happen in your country for the good of the people, not for the good of the politicians. Alrighty, so thank you for joining me today. I'll continue on with the horoscopes, and I've still got a couple left to go. Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius and Pisces are coming for May. Okay, so have a fabulous week, everyone. I'll see you again soon. If you're new, please consider subscribing to the channel and hit that notification bell right now. Okay, thanks again and bye for now. Thanks so much for watching. Please visit my website absolutesoulsecrets.com for all things spiritual. Have a lovely day.